Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Another week, another pay-per-view it seems. We had Bound for Glory this weekend. We have No Mercy coming up next weekend. NoDQ.com has you covered regarding the Impact Wrestling taping results. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for that. And also, NoDQ.com will have you covered for all the latest regarding No Mercy. Got your questions now from Twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag PAIV. First one today comes from Nikki. Hey there, how do you feel about the women's title match actually being in the main event, and what about Sasha winning? I'm glad that the women are getting a chance to main event. I really feel that the women's division can be at an equal level as the men's division. And even the tag team titles, I feel, can be at an equal level as the world title. I feel it's all about the presentation, and there is a way to make all the titles at equal levels. Maybe not the IC title, but I certainly feel that the IC title and the US title can be almost at the level of the world title. But anyways, getting off track here, I'm very happy that Sasha and Charlotte got the main event spot. To me, it's worth trying out. It's not like the ratings are going to tank. I think that perhaps WWE in time can make the women's division something really special. It's already getting there, and WWE can continue to make it a hot brand in its own. The women's division can be its own successful brand in WWE. You look at Ronda Rousey and how she's one of the biggest stars in UFC history right now. WWE can do the same thing with the women and make them larger-than-life superstars and make them just as big as the men. So I'm happy for it. And as far as Sasha winning goes, I'm a little surprised. I mean, I'm surprised in the sense that WWE basically did the same exact thing that they did a couple months back when Sasha won the title on Raw. It was basically a repeat of that. I figured if she was going to win the title back, it would be at the pay-per-view, but maybe WWE has something bigger planned for the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, and I'll get to that in a minute here. This one comes from Shaun T Flick. Why not have Sasha go over on pay-per-view instead of on Raw? It could be because WWE is planning to do a huge blow-off match at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view that will finally settle the feud between Sasha and Charlotte once and for all. And I guess maybe WWE wanted to do the title change instead of doing a screw job finish, setting up a final match at the pay-per-view. We'll have to see how things play out on next week's Raw. I figured maybe they would do some sort of screwy finish. Again, I wasn't expecting Sasha to win the title. Basically the same exact story being told as what we saw on Raw a few months back. I figured her second title win would be on pay-per-view. So yeah, I was surprised by it, but it's looking like WWE has a different direction where they're going to go with this, instead of having a screw job finish and then Sasha getting one more match at the next pay-per-view. This one comes from Gareth Smith. With the women main eventing Raw, is Hell in the Cell the perfect place for them to main event the pay-per-view in a Hell in the Cell match? I would say so, and this could be what WWE is building towards. They wanted to have the women main event Raw, and you know, if you're doing a main event match on Raw, you really do not want to end it on a sour note and do a screw job finish. I'm thinking the thought process was that since they're going to put that match in the main event slot on Raw, you want to have a decisive finish, and therefore you have Sasha winning the title. And this could be the setup for Hell in the Cell. You can have the final match take place at Hell in the Cell and do it inside the cell. Have the first ever women's Hell in the Cell match. While it's not confirmed right now, it's heavily rumored, and to me that is what makes sense. I said this last week in one of the videos I did. There's never been a better time than right now to put the women in a main event spot on pay-per-view. Have Charlotte and Sasha Banks be the main event at Hell in the Cell in the first women's Hell in the Cell match. The timing is right for it. You can put the two of them in there in a historic match, first ever women's Hell in the Cell match, and really allow them to shine and make Sasha Banks a huge female superstar. You know, she has that potential. I felt they dropped the ball at WrestleMania when she was coming out there at WrestleMania with Snoop Dogg by her side. But now they have another opportunity. This is their chance to really make Sasha Banks the top female star in WWE and make her as mainstream as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and she can be on all the banners and possibly be WWE's version of Ronda Rousey. They really have the potential to make her this bigger superstar, and this is it. This is the time to strike the iron when it's hot and do the match inside Hell in the Cell. Let them destroy each other and make it historic. Make history. This one comes from Alex Silva. Do you think we will ever see the Horsewomen stable on the main roster, and who do you think would replace Becky? Maybe Tessa. I would put Becky in there. I would do the actual 4 horsewomen in WWE at some point. Now, right now is not the time, but maybe a year or two down the line, you can get all 4 women on the same roster and have them be a dominant female faction. I mean, that is absolutely something you can do. And again, if you're really trying to make the women's division at an equal level as the men, you do something like this. You're making history. The first ever women's Hell in the Cell match. The first ever dominant women's faction in WWE. Something we really haven't seen. This would be the opportunity to really do something interesting with the women and do it on a major stage on Raw or SmackDown. Preferably Raw, because Raw's the A show. But yeah, that would be something tremendous to do in a couple of years. Not right now, but at some point. This one comes from Jared Jaysmith. Hey Aaron, could you see Braun Strowman as a potential challenger for Roman Reigns' US title? I think that would be the kiss of death for Braun Strowman, but I could see it happening at some point. I could see Braun being fed to Roman Reigns for the US title. Would not shock me at all if Braun Strowman is Roman Reigns' next big opponent, and that's WWE's idea of giving Braun Strowman a push. I mean, I'm not expecting anything long-term out of Braun Strowman. I think he'll be in there against one of the top guys like Roman Reigns, and then that'll be the end of his push. That's what I'm expecting, at least. And this one comes from Garrison. Your thoughts on who might be Braun Strowman's possible first real opponent and to feud with after the squash matches? It looks like maybe Roman. I mean, I think it would be too soon. I think you can get a little bit more mileage out of Braun Strowman. I mean, eventually you have to move on past the squash matches. You have to do something with Braun Strowman and put him in there with some more top talent, I guess. Maybe even mid-card talent. It's interesting because I think the end result should be Braun Strowman getting a shot at one of the top stars like Roman Reigns, and ultimately, I think he'll end up losing to somebody like Roman Reigns. But yeah, it would be nice to give him a little bit more mileage and put him in there with a mid-card star. Maybe have him beat the Shining Stars. I mean, something like that. Not have him beat guys like Sami Zayn, although that would be what would make sense. I'm not sure who you put in there with Braun Strowman at this point. I'm trying to think of guys on the Raw roster that would be a good fit for him, that I feel could be fed to him and people would not be that upset. I mean, I think people would be upset if Sami Zayn got fed to him or if Neville got fed to him. That's why I'm saying like somebody like the Shining Stars or somebody at that level. Feed Goldust and R-Truth to Braun Strowman. I think that would be the next thing to do with Strowman. Feed him to somebody who's really going nowhere. You know, maybe Goldust, something like that. This one comes from Richard Henderson. When Finn Balor comes back, do you see him feuding with Rollins again and Seth going back heel? I think the idea behind pushing Seth Rollins as a babyface right now was due to Finn Balor's injury. And I think that once Balor comes back, he'll be very over as a babyface like he was before he left. And Seth Rollins hasn't exactly been doing really well as a babyface, and some people think he's still a tweener. I mean, that's how poorly WWE has done with this babyface turn, that there are people out there thinking he's a tweener. I mean, I think once Balor comes back, you could turn Rollins heel again and get that feud going. So it would not surprise me to see Seth going back as a heel once Balor returns from injury. This one comes from Austin West. Going forward, it's looking more like Raw will have the gimmick pay-per-views while SmackDown has the pay-per-views from the past. Your thoughts? Well, SmackDown's actually getting the TLC pay-per-view, so that's not entirely true. I think that it would be good to just have a balance and have Raw get some of the themed pay-per-views and SmackDown gets some of the themed pay-per-views and come up with some new concepts for both brands. I think that just having all the old names go to SmackDown would be dumb, and having all the themed pay-per-views go to Raw would be dumb. I think you should just mix it up. That's how I would do it, at least. Got this one here from Sniper the Ladies Man. What do you think of the Sheamus Cesaro team? Sheamus, or I'm not even sure how you would pronounce it. I'm liking it since you don't see too many face and heel teams nowadays. I like it too. I do like the fact that they're doing this odd couple gimmick with Cesaro and Sheamus. It gives them something to do, and so far I think they're running with it. I think both guys are making the most out of it, and it's entertaining. So for now, I like it. Long term, I'm not sure how much mileage it will have, but so far I think it's so good, and it's going to at least give those two something to do, which is better than nothing. Better than just having them coming out there and doing the same matches over and over again. At least we're seeing things changed up a little bit. Got this one here from OSK. What do you think about John Cena's comments about Ambrose on talking smack about him not being in the locker room? Love the show. I thought that was a great promo. John Cena cut yet another great promo leading up to No Mercy, and it's part shoot, part work. John Cena talking about how he's earned the right to have that reputation and having his own locker room and not being in the same locker room as Dean Ambrose. He's a guy that is the first one to show up, the first one to leave, and brought up how hard he's worked. And right when that Talking Smack interview was over, he talked about how he would be back on a plane to New York to continue working. So John Cena, telling a little bit of truth here that he has earned that right to have his own locker room, and he has built up his name and his brand, and he's busted his ass for years. And as far as he's concerned, Dean Ambrose needs to prove something. So I really like the promo. I mean, it did come off as a bit heelish, but at the same time, John Cena has earned his spot in the company, and that's what he really believes. So to me, it was a really strong promo, and I think it did a great job in building up the No Mercy pay-per-view. I wish that they would show clips of it on SmackDown so the masses can see it, not just your most diehard fans that tune into Talking Smack. This one comes from James. Hey Aaron, should Alexa Bliss win the title at No Mercy to show the SmackDown women's division has serious contenders? I think it's too soon. I think that Becky Lynch just won the title and she should have a decent run with it for a while. Give her a couple months as champion, at least a couple of months. I think it's too soon to have a title change. I think that Alexa Bliss is just there to be somebody for Becky Lynch to defeat and move on and go on to the next challenger. I think that Alexa just getting the title shot is good for her, that she's getting a little bit of a push here, but not everybody can get a push. You have to build up the champion and establish the championship right now. And the first reign should be a memorable one. It should not be 1 month. My opinion is it would be a mistake for Alexa to win the title. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please click on the subscribe button. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video. Please spread the word. Twitter, Facebook, any social media website. People ask me how can they help out. The best way you can help out is to spread the word. Word of mouth can really go a long way, and I do appreciate all of the support from you guys in spreading the word about NoDQ&A video. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.